Hi, everybody. Dan Ullman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 6 at Churchill Downs on Kentucky Oaks Friday. It's the Grade 3 Unbridled Sidney. We're going 5.5 furlongs on the turf for fillies and mares. As we take a look at this field, Mike, we have a tepid morning line favorite. The number 2, Overcharged, is 7-2. Nothing tepid about Overcharged's last 2 turf races. She's won them by a combined, what is it, 17 and a half?
Yeah, it's to me, the most amazing thing about it is that she's only 7-2 on the morning line. Not only based on those 2 starts, and she's sprinted on turf 3 times. There are 3 blowout wins, and I don't know, you just can't run any faster than she ran last time.
She earned a 113 Buyer speed figure last time out, just blitzing them on the lead. And then we take a look at this time form US pace projector, and the Louisiana bred Overcharged might be able to grab the lead in a blue bar situation that favors front runners. Advantage Overcharged as if she needs another one.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder how aggressive some of these other riders will get in this race. I think Overcharged is probably on the lead regardless, but I wonder, like, does it take a horse like Stone Silent, for example, who's second on the pace projector, plenty fast? They've taught her to rate. It's been very effective for them. Are they just going to concede the lead to this horse earlier? Are they going to go back on the chase here? Because she's fast.
It'll be really interesting to see if they want to test Overcharged early, because her wins have come against lesser competition. 2 of the 3 stakes wins have come against Louisiana breds. The other one, the Mardi Gras, over a good turf course at the fairgrounds. Let's kick things off with a horse stepping way up in class. This will be the stakes debut for the number 1, Run for the Hills, coming into this race sharp off a second level allowance victory at Keeneland. Run for the Hills showed good positional speed in this race. Mike got right up on the lead, takes over in the stretch, just not a lot running behind her.
There's not pretty pleasing win, though. She got a great trip in this race, wins it very comfortably. I mean, she's just much the best in here. I actually felt like her loss 2 back at Gulfstream was not a poor performance at all, Dan. Bobbled at the start, wound up way back off the pace, but actually ran pretty well that day, too. I think she's okay. She comes into this in decent form. Feels like she's got to improve quite a bit.
Overcharged, the number 2, is 9 for 12 on dirt. You didn't think she'd be much better on turf, but apparently she is. Perfect 3 for 3, all 3 blowout wins, 113 Buyer speed figure, main speed in the race. Now she takes on the toughest test of her career.
Yeah, up in class here. It certainly feels like it's not going to be so easy for her to win. Even as I say that, though, and I keep looking at those last 2 running lines, she runs a 113 in here. You know what? It'll be an easy win for her. Once again, nobody in this field can run that kind of a race. And again, you have to go back a couple of years, but they ran her on turf once early in her career. Blowout win, just by the length of the stretch. You don't see margins like that in these kinds of races.
She runs the 102. She earned 2 starts back. She's likely going to win this race. At 7-2, let's say you don't pick her on top. We're not giving away our top picks. Just at 7-2, you got to like her, right?
7-2 is a great price on this horse. I'd be very tempted to just take that and move on.
Stone Silent is the number 3, and this filly is no joke. She's won her last 3 races down at Gulfstream Park, all against Open Stakes Company. And as Mike mentioned, she has learned to rate as she's gotten older for Brian Lynch. Here's her most recent start, the Captiva Island. Broke from the inside for the 2nd consecutive race, sat down inside with no problem. The rail opens up. This trip worked out for Stone Silent, and she's game to win at odds on because she's got to squeeze her way on through.
Yeah, couldn't get out to the clear on the upper stretch, so she had to stay in, but she's going to come right through on the inside here. Really good. Another really good performance for 3 really good trips in a row for her, Dan, and those 3 wins for Brian Lynch. Just sitting in behind the lead right up close and then running when it was time. But I listen, she's pretty good. I mean, she was a good 3-year-old turf sprinter when they were using her speed. So that's available to her here. It feels like if they want to do that, Overcharged is going to break running. She's a really good gate horse. Stone Silent might be fast enough to go with her.
Charriere is the number 4. Now, this is a very tough task for Texas-bred Charriere, who's only started twice previously on the turf, finished off the board both times, coming into this race off a disappointing pop and stop effort at Sam Houston.
I mean, she's just hard to make any kind of coherent case for based on the 2 turf starts so far.
Elm Drive, on the other hand, has always been a solid horse. She started her career like she'd be really good on dirt, and now she's sort of resurrected her career as a turf sprinter. Let's take a look at her most recent effort. This is the Grade 3 Giants Causeway. It's her first start off of a short layoff, and she catches a very good turf sprinter in Roses for Deborah. She was able to stay within range of a solid pace, Mike. She finishes up decently for 3rd. I think this was a really nice effort as a prep to lead up to this race, and I like her tactical speed. She can adapt to any scenario.
I like that too, because this could be a race where trips are important. We'll see how it all plays out. I like it. That pace was pretty fast too, Dan. And she kept close to it. She did, you saw there in the replay, she did make the lead there very late, but those 1-2 finishers, they're both really good horses. They were both on the way already. And she couldn't hold on. I appreciated too that she handled the 5.5 there, Dan. There were two other turf sprints, 6.5 down the hill at Sidney. Those are totally different races. She handled the shorter sprint distance.
Miss Speedy is the number 6, another horse stepping up in class off a likable victory. This one came at Gulfstream Park for Mark Casse, an allowance race. Let's take a look at Miss Speedy, and they were cooking with gas early. 20 and change for the opening quarter, 43 and change for the half. This pace is going to start to fall apart, and Miss Speedy's going to come rolling late.
Yeah, another filly, though, or mare now, that showed a new dimension here. The pace was fast, Dad, but she got bumped at the start and just wound up way back off the pace early. This is a good finish that she puts in to close this race down. New running style for her, too. None of her other races are like that. They're all pretty forward, so she showed that she can do it a different way there. I like that she handled the really short distance sprinting on turf, because I like her a little bit as a synthetic horse up in Canada. Those races, mostly longer, 6, 6.5, 7. I think she's at her best going shorter distances. That was a good performance last time.
The 7 is Medalla Match, and she'll be making her first start for a very good trainer in Cherie DeVoe. And this mare has just been versatile at any sort of distance. She's quality going a middle distance around 2 turns. But when you turned her back, she also kicks very hard, as she did 2 starts back at Remington Park when winning an allowance race. Now, last time out, I don't really think that trip worked out for her in the Panzeretta. She kind of got caught up in and among horses.
Yeah.
She's kind of interesting, Mike, because she's just a hardy mare that's going to be running on at the end.
Yeah, had a little bit of an excuse last time. And then when you start picking her form apart and you got to sort of pick through it a little bit, there are several 5-furlong turf sprints on her card. They're all pretty good performances. 5.5 is obviously fine too. I mean, I don't know. I think she's a little interesting, but she's probably got to run the race of her life to win here.
Overcharged is not the only horse that's unbeaten in her turf career. The number 8 AG Bullet is 4 for 4 on turf. Now, this, if she runs in this race, she's also cross-entered later this week at Churchill Downs. This will be the shortest race she's ever run. She's won it at 6.5 straight, 6.5 at Santa, a couple times down the hill, 2-turn mile. Here's a win in the Monrovia last time out, going down the hill, and she showed good Southern California speed in this race, Mike. She's confronted to the inside. She's just going to shrug this horse off and keep on going. Lightly raced, upside potential with the speed to potentially go after Overcharged early.
Exactly. 3 for 3 in her career sprinting on the grass here. This is a race that I looked at pretty closely. It's like I did a preview for it. Her win 2 back, I was just like, she had such a perfect trip in there. I'm not so sure that she's better than these horses. Maybe we can take a shot against her as the favorite. Wrong. She ran an even better race that day. She does have good speed. It's not easy. You know, these cutbacks in turf sprints, it's not easy to do, but she might have enough speed to handle it.
Secret Money, the number 9, is going to be making her 3rd start of the year for a very good trainer in Brendan Walsh. Her first race back, she was beaten by Stone Silent. Just tough to rally over that Gulfstream turf course going 5 furlongs. And Secret Money is a kind of filly that just doesn't have a lot of early speed. We saw that last time out when she finished behind Elm Drive, and the Giants Causeway just was far, far behind. I did like the run she made at the end of that race. Something tells me she's racing herself back into prime shape, but it's all about whether she gets a pace and trip.
Agree with all that stuff. I think her first 2 starts this year are okay. And races, the first one in particular, didn't set up well for her. She did run a little bit better last time. I really liked the way she started her career as a turf sprinter. Dan, I get it. They tried some different things with her second half of last year. They tried some longer races. It didn't quite work out, but she still ran well in some of those races too. I think she's good. Great price on the morning line. She's going to need a little bit of a setup here, but I like this horse. I'm going to use her.
Tony Ann is the number 10, and she goes out for the great Southern California trainer Phil D'Amato. We haven't seen her since she ran in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, and that was probably just a little bit too much from a class standpoint against the boys that day, especially going the 5/8. But her prior form against fillies and mares were very, very good. A race in the Franklin where she came from off the pace, but she's not some one-dimensional closer. She can adapt, and I think Flavian Pratt can work out a trip. It'll be interesting to see what we get off the bench.
Agree. Coming into this race off of a layoff maybe isn't ideal, but her sprint form is good. I'm with you. She has enough tactical speed to get a trip here from the outside. Who cares about the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint last time? She wasn't going to win anyway, but when she wound up last early, she had absolutely no chance.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Unbridled Sidney Stakes, race number 6. You're going with Miss Speedy, Mike, the number 6, and I kind of like this price play for you because her last race, it was a sign that she can now sit off the pace if the pace is electric, but it's nice to know that in the holster, she's got the tactical speed to stay close.
That's what I liked about her. Again, I like the shorter distances for her too. I think that's really her game. She handled turf fine last time. She did it a different way, but she doesn't have to be that far back if this pace it winds up being slow, as the pace projector suggests. I don't know. She's a little bit of a reach here, but I like her. She's run some good races, and she'll be a price in here.
Irad Ortiz retains the mount on the 6, Miss Speedy for Mark Cassie. Secret Money is, unlike Miss Speedy, a horse that needs pace. Going to come from the back of the pack. I'm hoping that maybe AG Bullet goes after Overcharged. If AG Bullet runs in this race, things set up for Secret Money, third start of the form cycle. Overcharged is our runner-up selection. We both think she's likely the horse to catch and beat. 6295 for Mike, 9235 for me. It's the Unbridled Sidney at Churchill Downs on Kentucky Oaks Friday. Good luck.